in lotus position like this, or kneeling, whatever is in your comfort zone. So as my regular students know, everything I say is a suggestion. So if you have a preference for another kind of pose, or if something is not comfortable for your knees or your back, just make a modification for yourself and take care of yourself. The name is gentle yoga because you're supposed to be gentle to yourself. And this is your practice. So we're starting out seated on the edge of a blanket or a block. So today, just to show you, I'm going to sit on the edge of a block here. So I'm going to raise up my hips. The sits bones come to the block. And then I'm just sitting in lotus. And you can place pillows under your knees if that's comfortable. So I like sometimes to raise my knees up. We'll just spend a few moments here and then we'll come into child's pose. So let's come together from around the world. Take a seat here. The sits bones are your anchor, your foundation in this beginning pose. This is our opening pose to come together in the breath. I suggest closing the eyes to cut out all the distractions. And simply notice your breath. You don't have to change your breath at first, just notice what the quality of the breath is. If it's in the middle of your day, maybe you've already been doing some things and it's kind of a busy feeling breath, or maybe you haven't been busy and it's nice and slow and easy. But give it a moment to have yourself as the witness of your breath, which is automatic and supportive and nourishing for us every single day. Allow the palms to place down on the thighs so they settle your legs down towards the earth, inhaling, expanding, and then exhaling. Maybe the legs release a little bit more with each exhale. The shoulders drop away from the ears. The pelvis tilts slightly forward like a bowl, allowing for a curve in your lower back, which supports the mid and upper back, your shoulder blades rolling down the back. Inhale and exhale. We'll come together actually in the conscious breath, which is different from our automatic. This is an invitational breath where maybe that inhale that expands the belly gets a little bit more expansive as you become more aware of it. And then the pause, your awareness of that pause between the inhale and the exhale. And then the exhale, let's try to be conscious of the abdominal muscles as they exhale the air out. And there should be no forcing to this breath, simply an awareness and a little more consciousness to support the body as we start moving through the practice. Welcoming yourself, to each other, sending that nice calming energy around the world. On your next inhale, flutter the eyes open, and then take your hands under your knees and just lift the knees up, and we'll come to a kneeling position, child's pose. If you need some support in child's pose, I suggest taking a blanket behind your knees like this. So if that's too much flexion for you to be down in this kneeling position, you can roll that blanket up. But I'll demonstrate here just by having the blanket here under, behind my knees. Also, you can place a blanket under your knees if you don't want that pressure on your knees. So we'll just come to kneeling. I'll show this from the side. Inhale, exhale, hinging at the hips, lean forward towards child's pose. So I want you to take the arms alongside your shins, and then the crown, the third eye in between the eyebrows to the mat. So just place the third eye on the mat. and see if you can accept the gravity that allows you to connect with the earth and relax with each inhale, and with each exhale, more release. This next inhale, if you can think of that breath traveling through the back body, relaxing your back, all of those muscles that support you, and then exhaling, sighing the air out naturally. So we're coming to this moment of stillness, facing downward, which is a very inward position. So allow your mind's chatter and clutter in your mind to just go by easily and then settle into this nice grounded position. Inhaling and exhaling. One more time. Inhale, exhale. And now reach the arms out above your head. So you're going to feel this length coming from your tailbone all the way to the tips of your fingers. Just reach out above the head. Imagine the millimeters between your vertebrae stretching out, lengthening the body. And now slide the hips from side to side. And I'm going to keep looking up so I know you guys can hear me while I'm down in the face down position, because that could be hard to hear. And now come to your center point again and walk your fingertips out to the right side. You're going to feel the entire left side body lengthen. So your pelvis and your sits bones are your anchor. They're not moving, they're in a still point, and what's moving is the mid and upper back, stretching over to your right side, but your left side's expanding. Continue to breathe, inhaling and exhaling, nice deep breaths. And then walk the fingertips to center, and we'll take that to the other side. So walk your fingertips to the left. Feel that expansion on the right rib cage. That third eye, just allowing your thoughts to spill out of there. If there's a lot of chatter, just allow that to imagine it melting out of you. And then walk the fingertips back to the center. Reaching out, take your left hand and weave it under your right armpit. So I'm showing that up here. My left ear is coming to the mat. So I'm twisting. Again, it's nice and stable through the sacrum and the pelvis, but the twist here is coming through the rib cage. So I'm reaching out slightly with that left hand, palm up. Press into the mat with the right arm, with the right palm or the right fingertips. So this is a twist early in our session, so you can go gentle here. Unwind that left hand, back up, come to center again. Inhale and exhale. And then with your right hand, let's weave that under the left armpit. Take the right ear to the mat and gaze over at your right hand. Pressing into the mat with the left fingertips. Feeling the rotation of the rib cage towards your left. And then the neck and the head. Again, gravity really helping us out here. Unwind your right hand, come to reach out again in this neutral position. Now we're going to do a flowing version of the cat-cow pose. So the cat pose means we're going to start from child's pose and we're going to transition into cat. So you're gonna lift the hips off the heels, tuck the tailbone under, and then your spine will arch towards the sky as you come towards the hands in all fours. So we can try that again. Just come back and we'll start that again. Come back to child's pose gently, forehead to the mat. Inhale, tuck the tailbone under towards the floor, and then the spine arching up towards the sky. And then your head will drop, so you feel this really arcing quality of your spine. And now the tailbone moves up. Keep looking at your knees. Your tailbone is going to start facing towards the sky, and then you're going to roll up your entire spine until you get to the head, and then look up. And then inhale, tuck the tailbone and arch up towards the sky, and then go back to child's pose. Inhale, up, tuck the tailbone, arch the spine, and now we'll watch the knees as the tailbone reaches towards the sky. So we're coming into cow. So this is a kind of a flow that we're taking through child's pose. This time, let's come right from cow, take the hips back above the heels, down to child. And now we'll take that rotation again. Make this match your breath. Tuck the tailbone under, arch the spine to the sky. And you're up in halloween cat. And then the tailbone reaches towards the sky, roll on up the spine, and then look on up. So you bring your head into this stretch, and then hips slide back. Make this a moving meditation. So your breath, when you come up and tuck the tailbone into that halloween cat pose, is your guide. And then tailbone rises all the way up the spine, look up, slide back. One more time, tailbone tuck. So this should feel like a wave action along the spine, gentle and therapeutic. Great, and now come back to child's pose, and we'll take another transitional pose. Inhale, come on up to all fours. Now you'll need to slide your knees back. I personally am going to cushion my knees because I like to have something under them for this pose. This is where we work on the core. So I'm back in my all fours. I came up from child's pose. And now I'm going to slide the knees back a couple of inches, and we're going to come into a knee plank. So the hips come forward from the knees on up to the crown of my head. I'm a plank, a straight line. Pushing through the hands, you feel that strength from below. The glutes squeeze about 20%. And now let's come back to child's pose, and we'll review that again. Inhale, come up to knee plank. So you're gonna bring your shoulders over your wrists, and now squeeze baguettes under your armpits. I know I usually say magazines, but let's go French. Squeeze baguettes under your armpits so you can imagine that engagement and make it happen in your shoulder girdle, and then come on back to child's pose. So we're doing core engagement, but just flowing in between two poses. And as you do this, come back to child's pose. Notice the pause in between each pose, and notice how the breath matches that movement. So we're always having that inhale that gives us the nourishing oxygen, a pause, and then the movement in the exhale. Great. Now let's take another transition. We're doing the same thing, but a little bit added on each time. So we're going to come on up to all fours. And this time, take the knees even further back, and we're coming to a high cobra position. So if you're having a lower back issue, which I am, and maybe some people are as well. Just be kind to yourself here. What we're going to do is keep the fingertips pressing into the mat, and you're going to drop the pelvis towards the floor. So the back might arch a little, and if this strains your back, then I want you to bend the elbows and just see if your pelvic bone can touch the mat, and if not, just come up further and come up towards plank. Back to child's. And then we're going to transition back to that high cobra, where we press through the hands and then drop the pelvis slightly. So this should feel nice flowing through the spine. You're arching back towards child's pose, touching down, and then coming back up, knee plank, and then your pelvis drops slightly towards the earth. Great. And now let's do this together, coming back to child's pose. Inhale up towards shoulders above the wrists, and then we're going to drop the pelvis down, squeeze down on those armpits, look forward. Your gaze is forward, so you're in that Sphinx gaze. Take your right turn with your chin towards the right shoulder. And then a left turn with the chin towards the left shoulder. And then come back to neutral, and then slide on back to child's pose. Inhale, exhale. Inhale through the back body. Exhale, sigh it out. Now we'll inhale again to our all fours. Take the right foot, and we're going to bring the right knee towards the right elbow. Take the right foot on the inside of the right hand. So we're going to take a low lunge. Fingertips press into the mat. Press through that front foot. And your anchor point is your front foot and the top of your back foot. So I don't want you to press into the knee because that puts unnecessary pressure there. But if you press through that back foot, you'll feel a stretch that's a lot healthier. Reach the crown of the head forward, low lunge. And now we'll take the palms to that front thigh and come on up to vertical. Lean the hips forward just about a couple of inches. Oh, we're going to fix the camera here so you can see me. Thank you. And I'm bringing the hips forward, pressing down through the right foot and the top of the left foot. Take the arms above the head, and your hands are going to be in steeple hands with the fingertips. Yes, I hope you can still hear me. I'll try to be louder. And then your arms come next to the ears, the index finger pointing upward. This is crescent lunge. Imagine that your heart has eyes, and your eyes are gazing upward from that point. You can even gaze up with your eyes as long as you don't strain the neck. Inhale, exhale, feel the hips sinking slowly down, and then windmill your arms down around that foot, stabilize yourself, and then bring the right knee back to all fours. Now we'll do the other side. So inhale, the left knee comes towards the left elbow, the left foot on the inside of the left hand, low lunge. Press through the bottom foot, and also get to know the top of your back foot and press that into the mat. Feel lengthening of the spine as you reach the crown of the head forward, and then take the palms to the front thigh and then come on up. When you press through that back foot, you're going to feel the quadricep on the right side will stretch out. We'll definitely feel that stretch, especially if you're dropping your tailbone Slightly dropping your hips and then moving them about an inch forward. Drop the hands to your side and then reach on up above the head. Steeple fingers, arms next to the ears. Look up with the heart, maybe with the eyes too. Inhale. Exhale, sweep the arms down around the left foot, and then draw that knee back. Great job, everybody. Let's just take a little trip with the hips here. We'll take our hips to the left, and then towards the heels, and then hips to the right. And now hip to the right, towards the heels. So we're making a U shape with the hips, stretching out the abductors. You should feel a relief for your hip muscles and supporting muscles. So by this time, you probably have gotten warmed up. So this will probably help you in our next poses as well. We're going to come to a seated position now, kind of where we started, but so I want you to sit up on that blanket or the block. Sits bones down on the earth, and we're going to this time take the legs straight out in front of you, about wider than hip width. If you need to cushion the knees and you can't bend your knees, that's fine. What this is about is the hips, so it's really not about the knees, but it's about the hips. So take your feet about hip width apart. You'll see that my toes are facing up towards the ceiling. Inhale and feel the back, feel the lower back. Make sure there's a curve in that lower back. If not, sit up a little more towards the edge of the blanket. So you don't want to be hunching forward. Let's take the fingertips beside us just to support that posture. Okay. Now, take your feet out to the outside, but I want the rotation to come from your hips. So the hips are rotating out, and then they're rotating in. So the toes come towards each other. And inhale, they go out. Exhale, come towards each other. Out and in like windshield wipers, kind of the opposite, going the opposite direction. Great. And now you can even start to rotate the toes towards each other and overlapping, like bring them a little closer. This is just a nice, easy hip rotation where you can feel it right at the top where the femur bone fits into the socket. You can feel that rotation. And then just flop the legs out to the side and just look and notice maybe they're not perfectly even, and generally they're not. So that's just our little hip opener before we come back to our seated position in either lotus or kneeling. So let's take our usual neck relief here after we went through the flow through child's pose. Let's come to a tall position. So reach the crown of the head towards the sky. And your chin, you want it on a nice horizon line, just facing forward. And we'll take a right turn with the chin. I'm doing my right, so I'm not mirroring you. Inhale. Exhale, come through center, and then take a left turn with the chin. And then exhale, come to center, tuck the chin into the jugular notch between the two collarbones. Look down at the heart. And then you'll feel that stretch in the back of the neck. And then look up slightly. And then gaze forward. Excellent. Now take the arms out to the side, like in a T. Shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. We know that's where they are when we're tense. Inhale, exhale, drop them. So this is the feeling you want, where they're open and in a healthy posture. Now I want you to look at your right hand. Press the palm up so you're pressing against an imaginary wall, and you'll feel the buzz along your right arm. This is your nerve fibers, and you should feel some sensation. Now gaze over your left fingertips. So you'll feel that push through the right hand, maybe escalates a little bit, that sensation. Let's see if you can slide the right hand behind you. So you're sliding it along a wall and you feel the nerves buzzing. And then slide it back forward. Bring the hands back to the T and face forward into the center. Now gaze over your left hand. Press that left hand into an imaginary wall. And then gaze over the right fingertips, reaching out to the right, nice and long. And then let's slide that left hand along that imaginary wall. This is helping with some of those ergonomic issues we might have, having to type so much lately, especially with the shelter in place, computers being our go-to. Okay, arms back to a T, face forward, and we'll bring the hands opening, palms up, so like you're holding platters to your side. Dock the elbows into the rib cage. Okay, and then let's bring the hands forward, and since we're talking typing, let's relieve our wrists a little bit. So we're doing a faucet, turning faucets in front of us. And then we'll come into a royal wave out to my sisters and my yoga friends out there. And then reach on up above you and look up at your hands. So you're taking a slight back bend, and then you're imagining all the great energy between us all coming towards us in our remote places. Yes. And then bring the hands into prayer position. And then the elbows go out to the side, and bring the hands about an inch above the crown of the head. Close the eyes. Now grow half an inch to an inch taller. Tucking the low ribs in and having that sense of the heart reaching forward, your head reaching skyward. And then open the eyes, palms face forward, open all those fingertips. And then come down, rest the hands on the thighs. Now we're going to take this twist that I don't know if I've introduced to you guys before. So you're going to take your left hand and it's going to slide under your knee. So, and as you do that, you're going to watch with your eyes, watch your left arm, the length of your left arm, and see if that shoulder on the left can come closer to your right knee. Okay, and then make sure to breathe through this. Bring that hand back up to the thigh. And now take the right hand, wrap that under your right knee. Watch your arm as the right shoulder comes towards the left knee. So again, this is one of those breathing, matching your breathing with the movement sequences. You can do this over on the other side. So keep sliding that palm under, and then the shoulder comes towards the opposite knee. This is good for your neck, your mid back, your upper back. If it's not feeling good, then definitely don't go as far into it. We're just doing a real gentle twist. Beautiful. Come on back up, and we'll take some rib circles. So take the hands to the hips just to feel that grounding through the sits bones. And we'll take the rib cage, just the rib cage, over to the right side. And then we'll take the rib cage to the front, and then to the left, and then back. So those of you who have taken dance these rotations. So you imagine that you're in a jar and that your rib cage is pressing against the inside of that jar. Circles in one direction. And then we'll go the other direction. So the rib cage goes to the left and then forward and then right and then back. And now make circles in that direction. Holding the hips steady, just the rib cage. Excellent. Okay, I promise you I'm going to change. Well, let's just change the cross of the legs already, if you haven't, to the uncommon cross. And let's take the hands to the hips again. Yeah, we can bring the camera closer. I'll take the hands to the hips again. Hinging at my hips. So there's a hinge here at the top of my thighs, the hips. And I'm going to lean forward like I'm a masthead on a ship. So I'm keeping a flat back as I lean forward. Okay, so we're not hunching forward like is so common with life. We're unhunching. So come forward, take your fingertips in front of you to support that bend. This will stretch the hips out as well. So walk the fingertips out as much as is comfortable for you. And then walk your fingertips back, and we'll do that cross again with the legs. So we get both sides here. Hinging at the hips, lean forward, fingertips spider out, pressing strong to support you. Crown of the head reaching upward diagonally. And then walk the fingertips back. And then take your hands, support your knees as they come up. And now we're going to get even more into our hips. So this should help the lower back. It should help the hips. We're going to do a modified gait pose. So we're going to take the support of that blanket and sit. I know, Terry, you inspired me with this because we were talking about sitting in lotus pose last week, and we were talking about other alternate ways to sit. So this sitting is something we had talked about, a side sit. So what this is my left knee is bent, my left foot is against my right thigh, and my back leg here is, I have my foot pointed, and I keep that foot active. It's not just flopping. So come to a side sit, and you'll see that I look a little crooked here. My right hip is higher. So I'm going to I want you to place the blanket under the left, like my left side is lower. So I put the blanket under my left sits bone. So see if you can find an evenness in your hips. Just adjust, take a moment so that your hips feel more even. You want to support the sits bones that's lower, and that will bring your hips up higher into more symmetry. If this gives you any cramps, which I'm getting a foot cramp as we speak, so just kind of gently, move that foot back and forth. Okay, so we're opening the hips here. Definitely take a nice big inhale through the belly, through the rib cage, all the way up to the chest, and exhale, feeling the abdominals help you out there. Take the hands out to the side, and we're going to lean our bodies over to the left. So crawl the left fingertips out, take that palm, place it firmly on the mat, and then you're going to take the left ear towards the left shoulder. And now take an L shape with your hand, with your right hand, and take that hip crease on the right side and hold that hip crease down. So the grounding, it doesn't lift up, but you feel that sense of grounding on the right side. Release that hand, reach on up to the ceiling, vertical, that arm is vertical. Maybe you gaze up at the hand, but you don't have to.
And maybe the body starts to lean over to the left even more, and that's fine. And now sweep the right hand next to the ear, arm next to the ear, reaching off to your left. And then use your core strength to come back up. And we're gonna sweep on over to the other side using your arms as the windmill effect there. And this side is not gonna go far because you don't wanna compromise the knee. So just take the left arm next to the ear and then we'll sweep back to the right side, to the left. Right arm reaches up, reaches over to the right, and then lean on over to your right. So we're alternating with each breath, alternating side to side, while the hips open as well. Come back up to vertical. And then we're going to take something called the beast. I think because it gets deep into the hips, we call it the beast. So we're going to take the torso and twist slightly towards your left. And you're going to take your hands, your right hand is going to come in front of your left thigh. And the left hand is going to come, this sounds like a game of Twister, I know. Your left hand comes to the mat just to support you, like so. Inhale, grow the spine tall towards the crown of the head. And then maybe your torso comes towards the earth a little more. Move the hands out. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale. Come down to the mat. So you're getting the hip crease on the right side is definitely getting addressed here. So this is like pigeon pose, but it's a little bit gentler. Maybe you bring your forearms down to the mat. Hang the head down. If it's available to you, you can straighten out your right leg. And you're gonna imagine you're standing on a surface with that right foot. If you do straighten your leg, imagine standing on a surface. Do not let it flop. Great. This is a big hip opener, so good job with that. Take your palms, press them into the mat, bend the right knee and come on up. And then we'll take this to the other side. So I'm gonna skip forward. And then we'll take the right knee bending towards the right foot comes against the left thigh, and then I'm tucking that back foot under. So check in with your hips here. I can just tell I'm going to need to have a blanket under my right hip because it's lower than the left. So see if the hips can be more even. If it's not perfect, the human body's not perfect, so here we are. Take the L-shaped hands here to the hip creases and just feel that grounding before we go to the side. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, and then we'll take the right fingertips over to the right. Place the palm firmly on the mat as your right ear starts to tilt towards the right shoulder, and take the left hand as an L, press that into the left hip crease. Inhale through the ribcage, exhale. Maybe you sink down a little lower towards the right side. Take the left arm, reach up to the sky. Maybe look up at it, but hand a little bit. And then reach the left arm next to the left ear. Big side stretch here. Inhale back up to vertical, and we'll tick-tock to the other side. Take the left hand down, reach the right arm next to the right ear. And then back and forth. So you're feeling both sides stretched here. as well as the rotation in the hips. This is good for those walking muscles. And then we'll come to back to vertical. Now we're going to do the beast. Get into that right hip. So look to your right, your rib cage is looking to the right, the torso, reach the hands out. Your right hand is in front of the left hand is in front of the right knee. The right hand is supporting you on the other side. And you're going to grow tall through the crown of the head and then lean, hinging at that right hip towards the earth. Maybe you take the forearms down to the mat or the head down, the forehead to the mat, whatever works for you. You can straighten out your left knee if that works for you. That stretches out the whole front of the leg and the hip. So again, press through the left heel and the left foot as if you were standing on something. Inhale through the back body like we were in child's pose, exhaling, allowing gravity to take its course. And then use your palms, helping you back up, bend the left knee, and bring the knees bent in front of you. Come to the lengthwise on your mat. Maybe shake out your legs if you'd like. Feel the opening in the hips. Take a blanket, put it to the side, make your strap available, and we'll come to lying down. On your way to lying down though, I'd like you to come to your soles of the feet on the floor and the hands behind on the back of the thighs. So the palms on the back of the thighs. Before you go down, just get that sense through your feet, press down through the feet, reach up through the crown of the head and shoulders away from the ears. So you're sitting up using your abdominals to undo that hunch. And then just take your hands behind you. Come on back on the back. And we'll take some bridging up from here. So the soles of the feet are on the floor. The length of the arms are all the way on the mat. And you can feel the back of your heels with your fingertips. Feet are hip width apart. Knees are hip width apart. Press down through the length of the arms. And now imagine that you have in front of your spine, a light in front of your spine, the full length of your spine that represents the core strength inside. Tap into that core strength, lift the tailbone towards the sky and the hips come up into full bridge. The chest reaches towards the chin. And as you press through your arms, you'll feel the length of the arms supporting your bridge. There you go. And now we're going to snake back down, each vertebra at a time, down to the mat. Skip the lower back and then just place the sacrum down. So when you're in this position, you can feel the sacrum as your root, but then a nice curve. So you don't feel the lower back on the mat. You just feel the curve above the mat. Okay, let's curl the tailbone up, lift the hips up, snake on up to a bridge. Press through the feet and bring that chest towards the chin. If you're able to, let's bring the elbows to the earth, press down. That extra pressure supporting your rib cage, supporting the extension. So this arch is not coming from your lower back, it's your mid back and your upper back. Reach up towards the ceiling if that is available for you. So these are actually Frankenstein arms. And then reach the arms next to the ears above the head. Feeling the length from the knees all the way to the fingertips. Bring the arms back overhead like Frankenstein, and then the elbows come down, and then you snake down to earth. Excellent. Now from here, I'm going to do a little struggling bug. People call it dead bug. I don't like that name, but here we go. So remember that core I was talking about. Place the arms on the mat again. Remember that core I was talking about? Tap into that. Keep the lumbar spine curved as you lift the right foot 1 inch off the mat. Inhale, exhale, place that right foot down. Inhale, lift the left foot 1 inch off the mat. And now place that left foot down. And repeat this. And when you do this, you'll feel the lower abdominals and your core muscles engage. It's small, but significant. So if this is available to you, you can bring the right leg up to tabletop and place it down, and then the left one up to tabletop. So we're doing a little more extreme core engagement here. And now take the right arm and the left arm up to the ceiling again. And let's see if you can imagine a string between your right wrist and your right knee as you bring that right knee up to tabletop. So you're pulling, you're making that motion with your arm as well. Place the right arm down, and sorry, the right foot down and the right arm at the same time, and then you're lifting the left side. So you look like a bug on its back, moving very slowly. And if you really wanted to bring this to a challenge, you don't have to put your feet down. You can just go full bug here, back and forth. Shoulders are dropping towards the earth as you do this. So again, not reaching upward, but just making that motion with the arms. Okay, come on back down to earth. I want to make sure we have time for this strap work. So soles of the feet to the floor, inhale and exhale. Bring your right knee towards your face on the next inhale. Take your belt or strap and place it over the ball of the foot of the right side. Straighten that right leg up. All right, feel the top of your femur bone plugging into the hip socket. Yes, it's meant to do that. So you'll feel your hamstrings wake up here. And now you can go back and forth with that straight leg, just to diagonal, more toward vertical, so your toes are coming away from your face and towards your face. Excellent. And now if you bend that knee toward the right knee towards your right armpit, you're coming towards what we call a half happy baby. And see if you can open that hip and now straighten the leg again. And then bend the right knee towards the right armpit. So we're alternating between the hamstring stretch and the hip stretch. Get a double whammy here. Make sure each movement is supported by breath. The inhale, the pause, and then the exhale. Great. And if you want to take the, well, yeah, actually, sorry, I don't know why why I said that. Take the right knee straightened again. Let's straighten the right leg towards the sky. And then take the strap or belt into your right hand and then open up to the right. So you're gonna open that like a door. Maybe it'll be lower down towards the lower part of your body, that's fine. Don't have to force yourself into any extreme stretch here. You'll feel it in your inner thighs, in the adductors. And if you'd like to open the right knee out to the side, you can do that too. Really opens that adductor complex in there. Inhaling, exhaling. A little bit of a spa here for our hips. And then bring the left sole of the foot, left foot to the floor. Bring that right foot back up. Let's see if you can feel any difference in the extension there in the hamstring. Let's go back and forth again, up and down with the toes. Phew, my hamstrings always feel it no matter what day it is. Okay, bend that right knee towards the face and then release that foot. Let's release it long on the mat. Release both legs long on the mat. Close the eyes. Notice the difference between the two sides. Inhale, both soles of the feet to the floor, bent knees. Exhale, inhale, or sorry, exhale, take the left knee towards your chest, hug the knee. Take the strap around the ball of the foot, and then stand that foot on the ceiling, straightening the leg. Hello, hamstrings. Now the toes, maybe you want to pull them towards you and then they'll go away from you, up and down. Yes, hamstrings love to be supported by the breath because they can get very tight. So make sure you breathe through this. And now we can alternate between bending that right knee towards the right armpit, holding on to that strap, and then pressing through the foot to straighten the leg. Bend towards the armpit, straighten the leg. Great. And then we'll take it up straight again. Take the strap in the left hand, open that foot up to that whole leg up to your left side. If you want to open the right knee out to the side, getting this adductor stretch on the other side, you can do that too. Inhale, deep inhale, and an exhale. Great. Now take your right knee towards the sky, press the foot into the earth, and then help that left foot back up. And see if you can nudge those toes a little closer this time with the strap. Back and forth. Phew. And then bend that knee, release. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's some hip and hamstrings. I get the H theme today. So let's take the knees together and we'll do some light twisting here with knees together and feet hip width apart or a little wider than hip width apart. And we'll windshield wiper the legs, but I'm going to guide you because I want you to have a really conscious movement here. Take the right knee, trace the left shin towards the foot, towards the left foot. Keep in contact. Inhale that back up. Exhale, let's take the left knee along the right shin towards the right foot. So you're making a very conscious windshield wiper effect. This should feel yummy in the hams, outside the hips, the hip abductors. lower back. And we'll just do that as our last twist before Shavasana. Take the thumbs to the elbow creases, and you'll take the elbows side to side in the opposite direction of the leg. So you're squeezing out your whole spine here, twisting to bring your practice toward closure. The head is going to follow the direction of the legs, back and forth, side to side. And if you want your eyes involved, your eyes can follow your arms, which is, again, I always come back to the twister metaphor because giving these instructions feels like I'm in charge of the twister game. Great. This is a full spine way to finish a practice. Come back, slow the movement down, release everything, lengthen out on the mat. And I want you to squeeze all the muscles. On an inhale, we're going to squeeze all the muscles that you can think about tensing. And on the exhale, release all those muscles. So inhale, tighten everything, pause, and then exhale, sigh it all out. Everything drops. The palms face the sky. The shoulders shimmy underneath you, so they're melting towards the earth. The feet open out to the side. If you would like to put something under your knees for your lower back, that's fine. Coming back to that lovely inhale and exhale. Coming back to that conscious breath where you expand that inhale a little bit more. Pause, crest that wave, and then exhale, nice and long, squeezing it out. Just that little extra bit, be more than your regular breath. Allowing the breath to fill the whole body. If you've got any tension left, breathe into that tension and release it with your exhale. This is a tiny spa moment for you in your week. Connecting with the body, the mind, and the spirit, all together connected with the breath. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Bring your awareness to your surroundings. Bend the knees. Roll over onto your right side. One more inhale and exhale. Before you use your hands to help you up to a seated position, let's take those peaceful dove hands so the thumbs are linked, palms out, fingers out. Place this over your heart. Feel the inhale rise and the exhale. Change the hands to prayer position in front of the heart. It's such a joy to practice with you across the continents. Thanks for joining me today. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for flowing.